Okay, I'm live here on the YouTube. Tonight is day 8 of the 28-day drawing challenge for the Draw or Die Club. If you're out there and you're drawing this month and you're drawing any of these prompts, hashtag Draw or Die Club. We'll take a look live here on the stream. All these prompts were chosen by the community members or the list members at Draw or Die Club. So we got tonight's Universe in a Cup. I've done 7 of them so far, so we're getting into week 2 here now of February. We have all those days to go. So yeah, tonight we're going to talk about the secret to how the universe works as I'm drawing. So if you're watching this in replay, make sure you check it out. Come back and check this out. Or stay tuned because I'm going to drop some universal knowledge on you, perhaps. What I like to do starting out every night, I like to kind of take a look and see what's going on over in the Draw or Die Club. So we go over to Instagram mainly. So I'm going to refresh it just to see if there's any new drawings up inside the hashtag group there. What do we got here? What's that? All right, I'm just going to see what this is real quick. Who is this? My Art Journal. My take on yesterday's prompt. All right. I'm going to follow you, My Art Journal. If I'm not following you and you're hashtagging Draw or Die Club, I will follow you. Usually give a couple minutes here for, there we go. I guess I should be sharing my screen here. Hero Hotel comic, or Hero Hotel. Hey, what's up? Thanks for joining. Let's take a look through the Draw or Die drawings for today. So today's was Universe in a Cup. We're going to see a lot of coffee cups. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot of coffee cups today. There is a special twist of the day for the paid drawing prompt members at Draw or Die Club. That's the $5 a month thing. The twist today is a coffee pot has to be included. So, that's a cool one too. I just thought about doing like a Galactus with that. Hey, Sean MacArthur. How's it going, man? Great artist there. Check out Sean MacArthur. Maybe I'll find your art later. Here's Joe Dunn. And I know some of these artists just by looking at their art, but that's Joe. Joe Rules, Joe Dunn, Universe in a Cup. I kind of know what I'm going to be working on tonight. I got a little idea. We'll be talking about some other deep stuff. We're going to get deep tonight. Talk about strange universe things and how the universe works and just bizarre, weird quantum weirdness and stuff like that. So tonight is Universe in a Cup, and I'm going to start drawing that. I might be interrupted by my dog, who is sniffing around for something here in this office. Let's go full. All right, so I'm going to clear this. Go to my roughs. Get the little composition sketch out of the way here. All right. As always, I'm starting small, so in this case, I want to do a genie kind of thing. So there's going to be a little coffee cup, right? And out of the coffee cup is going to be this. Well, I need to go a little bit smaller there. Bear with me. It'll all come together. All right. I want the coffee cup to be kind of small because the I want there to be a genie here, is what I'm saying. All right. I want it to look kind of. It's going to be doing the arm cross thing, you know. Very genie. Not like a genie from. I mean, it is like a genie from the Disney movie, but I'm not drawing that genie. So we're gonna just get the shape. All right. If you're just joining, I'm working on just little composition, and then we'll bust this up and make a better view of it. I don't like that. I'm gonna clear that. I'm going too big with the sketch. Need to like stay small with the little one, the composition silhouette. Let's call it. That's better. Yeah, that'll be cooler. Right, doesn't look like much right now, but it will. We're getting there. Right. Get my main sketch in, and I'll just start talking as I'm drawing here. So I promised that I would drop some, secrets of the universe on you tonight. So I'm going to do that, believe it or not. So we're going to. There's a reason I'm drawing a genie. For sure. So we're going to do the little cut down here first. You know what? Why don't we make it my cup that I'm drawing, the red cup here. I'm going to make this cup. I'll draw that cup instead of a basic coffee cup. Hey guys, thanks for joining, watching the stream. I'm just working on the sketch here. We'll get there. We're gonna have a genie coming out of this cup, kind of swooping up. You'll see it in a minute. Hey everybody. All right. This is just going to keep repeating it for a little bit, but this is the concept here is today's prompt is a universe in a cup. And I've decided to draw a genie or a djinn. Grant your wishes. And maybe if you watch the entire stream, we'll do an exercise at the very end where you can figure out a way to grant your own wishes. But you got to be very careful. Those wishes can be tricky. You know, the genie rules. Can't wish for more wishes, all that stuff. Let's see. Cannot wish for more wishes. I think there's more. There are more genie rules to that too. But we're not going to talk about that too much. But I'm going to show you the real thing. We're going to show you how other people have granted their wishes in real life, how I've messed with it. It's kind of magic. Magical thinking. You know, I don't like this hand. Let's change that up. It's kind of difficult sometimes to think that people are watching what I'm drawing. Tend to kind of overthink things. Yeah, we're going to talk about magic tonight. We're going to talk about the secrets to the universe and all that stuff. We'll just keep his face kind of like that for now. I want to say I got a reference sheet here. Look at this. I have a reference of the of the genie from. Oh wait, I'm not showing it. Why isn't it showing up? What's going on? Weird. Uh oh. Hmm. My my iPad froze. Mm-hmm. All right, gonna have to bear with me then. I think I need to restart this. This happens. While you're waiting for me to restart this iPad, you can put emojis in; they'll fall down. So I'm gonna go ahead and quit this. I might lose my sound for a minute. Try to reload this screen. All right. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Darn. Come on. We'll get it back. Every once in a while, the iPad. There we go. Now we're cooking. Couldn't even see what I was drawing there for a minute. I'm glad I looked up. But yeah, now you can see here that I'm doing the. I had the reference for the genie from Disney, but also like a classic DJINN. You know, that guy. Some horns, because I thought maybe some horns would be cool. And then there's this badassery, whatever that is, some lightning and stuff. I like that. Right. So this genie's coming out of a coffee cup, right? That's kind of the idea. I like that beard too. All right, cool. Just want to make sure I kind of do my own version of this. He'll most likely be purple or blue or something like that. It's, I don't want to do horns. not like a devil. So yeah, all right. Start talking now. I guess it's important to say I'm not really a religious person. I'm not a spiritual man, but I use my imagination a lot. So I like to keep my mind open to possibilities and, I guess as a storyteller, I'm kind of a seeker. I would find myself as I was drawing comics, full time for 12 years, 13 years, I would constantly be looking for stories, and so I would look into like, oh, magic, like is magic real? And then you would find, you'd always find the tricks and what I wanted to know. Oh, like, are monsters real? No, like, or some maybe, you know. So I was always very curious. As a kid, I'd gravitate towards those books, crypto creatures and stuff like that. Just it's fascinating. But the older you get, you just kind of settle in on what the world is around you, and you don't really think about magic, or you just kind of stop using your imagination, and that can be troubling. Um, and I'll move this guy out of here. 1 second, move this around. Don't know why that's. I want to be able to see the. You know what? I'm going to take this drawer.club off of here. Just got to get it out of the way. There we go. All right. There we go. So, yeah, anyways. It's important to say that I'm not a very spiritual person, but I am very open minded. I studied the world's different religions. I was made to go to church when I was a kid, so I know all about it. I've read the Bible, all that stuff. His hand needs to be out more. Right? His arm needs to be more extended. But as an adult, you start to kind of question things and think, well, this is all there is. But somewhere deep down inside, you think there's got to be something else. There's got to be sometimes things just feel like there's something bigger going on, right? Some people think, oh, that's God or religion or magic but when I was working on the Hero by Night book, actually, I was looking into occult stuff. Like I was just like, a secret society thing, and I started getting into this, like digging deep for story. Now I'm using my imagination. Now this isn't. I'm not saying that I'm full on believing these things, but I'm going to tell you my experience with it, and then you can try for yourself. I highly suggest it. And I'm going to give you some examples of people that were skeptical and that did these things, and it worked for them too. And it's like, holy cow, what's going on? We know some kind of secret thing happening here. So with Hero by Night, I was working on story concepts, and I wanted there to be some sort of magic, like some kind of like occult thing. And I found Hermeticism, and in real life, like that was, it's a real thing. And this emerald tablet of Hermes, and I was like, what's this about? So I'd start reading that, and I'd read that, and I'd read that. And I would just go down these rabbit holes of reading like actual historical things. And it's just very interesting. And a lot of it's, stories, but I wanted to get to the root of it. So in my story, though, for the secret society, known as like the Secret Society of Shadows, I would have them say, as above, and then the other people would say, so below. Like that's how you knew that they were part of the club, let's say. And And so that was just cool. I was just like messing around with this secret society thing in my comic. People are going to jump into the stream and just think I'm talking about reality too, but I am, but I'm not. But this is the part where I was coming up with this stuff for my stories. But then as I read deeper, it's like, where did this come from? And then someone said, oh, yeah, that sounds like The Secret, like the Oprah Winfrey thing. So I'm like, what's that? And, so I watched that movie, and it starts with the first lines in that movie thing are as above, so below. And I'm like, whoa, that's weird. Like, that's a weird coincidence, right? And then the whole movie talks about how there are no coincidences and all this stuff. And I'm just sitting there the whole time going like, holy shoot, like what is this thing? And I forget the lady's name that authored that book, The Secret. She was all on Oprah, and there's so many life coaches and like a lot of BS. A lot of people BSing it, but the story, yeah, Rhonda Byrne, right? So I'd be like, okay. So I'd look back and I'd go, what's up with who's this Rhonda Byrne? Well, then I find out from some other forums that uh, she just basically copied things and copied like copied a book from the 1800s, and then the book from the 1800s copied another book, and it all went back to Hermeticism, right? The secret tablet, like that's the story, like that's the cool story behind, like all those old stories are interesting. Bible stories are interesting to me. This story is interesting to me, that there was this magical tablet that had this secret written down on it, and these kingdoms and stuff didn't want anybody to know about this secret, because if the people knew, then everybody could have whatever they wanted. And that's how kingdoms rose and fell and all this stuff. They hid the tablet and whatever, like they destroyed it, or some people say, and some people say it's still around and all this crap. So there's a lot of like, okay, story, I get it. So by the way, I'm just going to recap. This is a genie coming out of a coffee cup, and since I have to have the twist for today for the Jar Die Club members is a coffee pot, I'm just going to go ahead and just set this coffee pot over here. Anyways, I was in creative mode when I was reading all this stuff. I'm like, this is cool. I'm going to make a character doing this. I'm going to make a character doing that. But as I was reading all these testimonials of these people that were doing these things, these actions that I'm going to tell you about later, I'll tell you exactly how to do it. But you got to be careful. So in The Secret, they got a genie. They're like, it's like a genie. And imagine that like that. You ask whatever you want, and you'll get it, right? But you got to be careful. It's like the classic genie thing. You got to be careful how you wish for it. You might be like, hey, I want $1 million, and then a sack of money, you drown in it, or an armored car crashes into you, right? You have to be very specific. And so a lot of these people in the law of attraction community will do vision boards and visualization. And like, I get all that stuff because as an artist, we're visualizing things and drawing it out onto paper or canvas or buildings or sculptures. And a lot of this creation happens deep inside of us. It starts in the brain and it comes through, and some people can't get it out yet. So if you're a beginning artist, it's hard to transfer what you're seeing in your mind to the paper, right? But it's a practice. You got to practice with it. So anyways, yeah, it was very fascinating. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to try. I'm going to do the exact thing. And I did it. And much to my surprise, things started changing. There's a quote somewhere from someone. What is it? If you change the way you look at things, then things you look at will change. That's pretty deep. But it made the world more interesting, because up until that point, it was just like, wow, you're going to work, it's boring. So like the magical thinking, right? That people are like, oh, people have crazy magical thinking. But these people that have magical thinking, they seem to bend reality around themselves things just seem to magically happen for them. Even really bad people, without the greatest intentions for others, can even become president. Things like that, they just seem to say something, and then it just becomes so. It's weird, right? Um, and I realized like, man, I think I've been doing this a good part of my life, and I didn't even realize it, because as a creator, you're visualizing something, you're sitting there daydreaming, or you're thinking about something, how life could be, but it works in reverse too. So if you're thinking bad thoughts, then those manifest in your life, right? So if you're like thinking, oh, I'm broke, I'm never gonna have money, I'm never gonna, how am I gonna pay these bills? I barely have money for my groceries. You're just gonna, like, it's as if the universe hears that and thinks that that's what you're wanting. It doesn't know the difference between you hating it or loving it. It just amplifies back the feeling that you're putting out, right? In my experience. So when you, even if you're dirt poor right now, and you start forgetting the wealth consciousness part of it, and start thinking about visualizing how your life could be. I'm not talking about Lamborghinis or anything like that. I'll give you a really fascinating example here in a little bit. I should probably start inking this, or I'm going to be talking all night with this. We can't have that. So, anyways, I did do it, and I won't get into what I got out of it, but I can tell you that I started to be like, well, I'm a believer in this stuff now, this visualization thing. I mean, even then, I'd have religious people telling me like, that's like the devil, and I'm like, no, it's actually in the Bible too. There's Bible verses that talk about it, because like the story goes that so many different religions learned this thing, Hermeticism or whatever, and they have elements of it. Like if you ask for something and you believe it, you'll receive it. Like there's a verse in the Bible that's Matthew 21:22 that says, all things, whatever you ask for in prayer, if you believe it, you'll receive it. Right? So, that's, but the belief is the hardest part, because you could say that you believe something and you don't actually, or you're not actually believing it. Deep down, you're having some kind of doubts, right? So, yeah, we're going to get really deep, because I got a cool story to tell here in a minute. I just got to get some of these inks going here. So yeah, I was having some successful years there. A lot of things were happening for me. It was hard work. It wasn't just magic that was appearing. It was hard work that was coming to fruition. But that period of my life, I was quietly meditating on certain things that I wanted in certain ways. And I was trying to be mindful, but I wasn't very practiced at it. If it was a thing that was working behind the scenes, I wasn't doing it right, because like I had a lot of pain going on in my life too. But like I said, sometimes to get to where you want to go, you got to get through some other stuff. That's what it felt like. So I'll give an example. So one night, I'm coming back from Comic Cons. I used to fly around the country quite a bit, go to Comic Cons, and I would be gone for the weekends or whatever. And I came home, and my ex-wife, she's now my ex-wife, was like very sad. And I remember it very clearly. She was in this hallway and it was dark, and she just looked very sad. And I was like, what's wrong? And she said, well, you've got all these things going on for you. You got, you won this award, and you're going to this place and people are getting your autograph. I'm like, yeah, okay. I said, but I was like, what do you want? And she's like, I don't want to just be your wife. Like, I want to be my own person too. And I'm like, okay, I'll try this. Try this crazy thing with me right now. So I tell her, by the way, I drew a graphic novel about this. It's very hard to get, but it's the like Law of Attraction Illustrated. I drew that for Smarter Comics. I drew this story out. Um, and if I could ever find a digital copy of it right now, I'd just give it away for free, because I think it's a fascinating topic. So, um, anyways, she's sitting there sad, and I said, "Listen, stop crying. Let's go. Let's go. Like, let's talk about what the three like. Let's pretend it's a genie. Let's pretend it's this genie here. What three things would you want? Don't worry about money. Don't worry about whatever." And she said, "Okay." So she did it reluctantly. She's like, "I want to get LASIK surgery, but she can't afford it." Right? I'm nope, nope, nope. You can't do that. You can't say but. You can't. You just got to go. I want LASIK surgery. Okay. And you can be selfish here. You can be selfish, right? I told her. And she goes, "Well, I want a Camaro. Can't afford that either, right?" No, 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 no. Just say, "Hey, I want a Camaro. I want my dream car. I want." She said, I want a car. I want LASIK surgery, and I want to play roller derby." All right, those three things. And I said, "Okay, so from now on, from this day forward, what you're going to do is you're just going to think about those things every day that you wake up, and you're going to have to take an action. So even if you can't afford, in your mind, you got to say, I'm going to go get LASIK surgery. Even if you don't have the money in the bank, just go do a consultation. So you got to take an action. You got to show the universe that you're taking some sort of action." So she signed up for a consultation for LASIK surgery, which was free. So here's where the magic happened for her, my ex-wife. uh, she goes to the consultation with the LASIK, and they go, "Hey, guess what? We've got this deal that you can totally afford this now, like a finance deal or something like that, where it's only like $100 a month." It was within her budget. She didn't think about that, so she was excited about that. And when she was filling out the medical form for the, like, what do you play any contact sports? She just kind of went all in and said, like, "I'd like to play roller derby" on the form. Okay. And the girl comes back in and goes, "Do you play roller derby?" And she goes, "Oh, no, no, no. I'm just doing a thing. I want to play roller derby." And she goes, and I forget the girl's name right now. It'll come to me. There's a lot of different derby names. And the girl goes, "Well, I'm on the Steel City Derby Demons. So this is what I do. And we're having a boot camp in 2 weeks." And my ex-wife was like, "Holy shit." So she got two of the things uh, right then. So she came home and she was just like, "Holy crap, this is working." And I was like, "See, that is crazy. That was a crazy one." Little did I know, I found out years later that my ex-wife had been having an affair as well, right? I did not know this at the time. She was very unhappy, miserable, not just at me, but just life in general, and just not knowing whatever. Very complicated. Life is very complicated, right, guys? But she had been having an affair with an older man, and he drove her. But one of her secret wishes wasn't necessarily Camaro. It was that she wanted this guy out of her life. Like, he wouldn't leave her alone. Blah blah blah. Like, and he drove her to the appointment to go get the LASIK thing done. Right. I found this out way later. Uh, and they fought on the way down to this place because he didn't want her to get this surgery or whatever. He said this was ridiculous, and they broke up. So she got her three wishes all in one trip, right? Now, little did I know that any of that stuff was going on behind my back, but she did tell me later, shit, stuff happens in life. Um, and for me, I think that's one of the things. You can, if you're not happy in your relationships, it works the same thing as physical items. Like car, money. It's about your happiness and the feeling. Like, are you Are you craving something else? Do you want something else? And I think all those things just kind of change, kind of point you in a new direction. And that's what kind of feels like magic. Now, that could just be your imagination. It could just be connections happening, but that's that was an eye opener for her. And it was a slippery slope of definitely ending our marriage, not because of that, but just because we were both learning how to visualize what we really wanted in life because we got married very young. And I think we were both kind of like, we didn't really want to do that. Like, that's not what we really wanted in life. And so a lot of people just stay in their situations and don't change. And it was hard to get through all of that stuff emotionally and stuff, but it was definitely worth it in the end. So, um, and I don't tell that story much. I put it in that graphic novel, and I didn't know the other part that I told you there until much years later. But so it's kind of like a be careful how you wish for sort of thing. The rules of the genie. So that sounds crazy, doesn't it? You know? And you'll fight against it because you're like, I'm supposed to be what? You're fighting against the current of how this stuff works. And then you go deeper when you start doing it and messing with it. You're like, oh my gosh, this is weird. The more you give, the more you get. When you donate money, money's a good one, but I found here's another little secret. Like sometimes I'll just like feed birds. That sounds crazy, but like I'll just feed the animals. Like you're giving out. It's like the spirit of giving and helping and stuff like that. It's like they call that the law of reciprocity. And it just feels good to give without any kind of wanting anything back in return. But then I oftentimes find like the more I'm giving, suddenly something really good will happen in my life. And the more I'm being reserved and like squirreling things away and fearful of like, are we going to be able to pay these bills? Are we going to be? Then things just keep spiraling in that direction. Let me let my dog out of this room. All right, doggy. You can go on. Bye. Yeah. So that's very. I mean, I've got a couple other stories like that aren't as deep. I mean, that was a deep one. That was like the end of my marriage back then, which I'm not salty about now at all. But I used to have another friend, and I won't say his name because I don't want to summon him. But he was a very negative guy and very down, and like never things would never go his way. Let's say like the born loser. That's kind of what it was. He was kind of like the born loser. And so I tell him, I'm like, hey man, you should try this thing. Like you should just try it. He's like, this is BS. This sounds like bullshit, dude. And I'm like, well, what do you got to lose? It's use your imagination with me here. And I tell him, what do you want? And he was. It's always people say when you get someone in that stage in their life, they're always like wanting a TV or something like that or some kind of item. It's not about happiness or peace of mind. And this is back in the 90s, and like big screen TVs were not cheap and not readily available. And I think he was like, I want a big screen TV. And I was like, all right, write it down. Write it on the wish list. Put your order in. So we're at the mall and we're walking through, and there's a kiosk lady, and it's like, win a big screen TV, no crap. And he's like, ha, like so if I write this down, I'll get this TV. I'm like, no, that's not how that works. Just do it. Just follow through with it, because the universe is putting that in front of you, and if you turn it away, you're saying you can't tell it how it's supposed to come, right? Like that's the trick with the magic. When you make the wish, you don't get to dictate how it gets to you. So if you've asked for a big screen TV now, and you go to the mall and there's like a kiosk that says, you got to pay attention to those. I call them rusty signs. Me and my pal, Eddie Vedder. These rusty signs that are all around you when you're in life looking around, right? Where it feels like, is this a sign from beyond, or is it like a ghost of, Aunt Susie trying to guide me? Like that feels like that when you're paying attention to the universe around you, right? Getting pretty deep here. But anyways, he filled that out, and of course, whatever. And then his one friend, or his coworker at the time, because he worked at a pizza place, and he was like, if I'm getting this right, but it doesn't matter. Needed to move. He's like, hey, I gotta move on. Will you come and help me move? And he's like, all right, I'll come and help you move. And as they were moving, this guy, no fooling, he had a big screen TV in his house, like one of those big boxy ones from like the 90s, Sony. And the guy says, hey, listen, I can't take this with me. Do you just want this as payment for helping me move? And he was like, well, I can't move this out. Where am I going to, what? And then it just dawned on him like, dude, I got a TV. And he didn't know what to do with it because it was so big. He couldn't put it in his little apartment. He had no way of moving it either, really, in his car or whatever. But he got the TV, and he was like, that was weird, dude. And I'm like, I know, right? It's weird. So those are the two stories. And that friend was just so negative. It's one of those situations where you got to remove the really negative people from your life. It just doesn't serve you to have them around. Even if you care about them, it just drains on you and fades off on you. Right? Yeah, it comes so fast sometimes. Especially if you're just like, what the hell do I have to lose? I'm going to use my imagination, right? And just pretend like you're a kid again. Just pretend that it's real. Believe that it's real. Right? That's the trick. And then, whenever I was like, I really got into the thing and studying it and stuff. And I was like, ew, like there's so many weird gurus and stuff that use this thing and prey on, people that are desperate. It's sad. There was even that guy that like put people in like sweat tents or something on some retreat that they paid a lot of money for, and he got in a lot of trouble. But it can go to your head. Like that power that if you're like, oh my God, this is working, I'm gonna get all these people to follow me and I'm gonna form a cult, like, oh man, it's bad news. But for the sake of, we're on YouTube drawing pictures here and you're all my friends, I'm just letting you know that you can do this too. It sounds crazy. It sounds absolutely bananas. I know it does. Sometimes I still think that it sounds crazy, but these things are true. These things happened to me and my friends. And yeah. And there's a lot of things there's just a lot of things like that. Like you've heard of the red string of fate, that people are like tied, like people keep coming around. The Germans call it, my German friends call it, you always meet twice when they part. They never really, like, they say goodbye, but they're like, we always meet twice. Right? And you start hearing those kind of stories that are trippy, like trippy stories about how things that happen now are connected to, here's a good example. There's a story I heard. It's real. It's a real story. There was a lady that was at a baseball game, and she was at a little league baseball game, and a kid started choking at the game, and she saved the kid's life. So I'm just cutting. This is a really fast version of the story. She saved the little league kid's life. He was choking at this game. He got hit by a baseball or something like that, and she saved his life at the field. And he was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then cut to like 20 years later, this kid is a waiter at a restaurant, and that lady is choking on food at the restaurant. This kid dives into action. He's now 20 years later or whatever, 10 years later, because he's like a young adult. Saves her life, and then she realizes, holy crap, how did, like, they saved each other's lives. It sounds crazy. It sounds like a story that someone made up, but it's real. These people were interviewed on TV. I saw it, and I was like, what the heck? It's like quantum weirdness. Now, as a storyteller, I like to, and as science fiction, I'm like, that's interesting. Why don't we explore that more? You know, just for story. But if you're gonna stop talking so much and get some coloring done here, but why wouldn't you explore that and try it? Like even when like I said, like you go searching for things like these ghost hunter people, and they never quite have, they never quite see Bigfoot, they never quite get a UFO, but they're out there searching. I like that, but I would be the same way. I'd be like, is there a monster in that cave? Let's go check it out. Like, there's no monster in this cave, guys. Or what's up with David Blaine? Like, why is he levitating? How does he do that? And I'd be the guy to be like, I want to figure that out. I want to know the magic trick. Show me. And then you'd find out the magic trick, and you would totally be able to explain it. And it ruins the magic, but you're like, aha, that's not magic at all. So I'm a big fan of Harry Houdini. Same thing. Like, when Houdini's mom died, and he went after a lot of the psychic mediums. Some people even say that they murdered him because he pulled he would like unmask them. He found out, he helped unmask this thing that the psychic mediums used to do back in the day. A lot of scams were back before the internet or telephones or anything like that. They had these little black books. So if I was a psychic from my town, I would get the dirt on all of the people in my town. Like, oh, old man Withers, his cousin Bill just died, and lady whatever. Like they would write all this stuff down in a book, very detailed, and then that person would go trade with. Hold on. That person would go trade with the 5 towns over, and then when they would um, advertise that like Mystic Anna is gonna be in town in Pittsburgh, people would drive from from those towns to this place, and they would say their name, and like they would have to put their names in a book that they were going to be at this conference, and then Mistress Anna would already have a bead on like cold reading of these people, and it seemed miraculous. So the cold reading thing is like, and Houdini blew the doors off that. But with this thing, with the secret thing, the law of attraction stuff, it's kind of hard to explain those other stories. They're so strange. The ones that I've personally had experience with, my ex-wife's story, my old best friend's story, um, weird stuff. And it makes the bad times kind of better, because if you're having a hard time, you can kind of center yourself and go, all right, now you can go pray and all that stuff too, because according to this, if you're praying to God or you're praying to whatever, you're just emanating that energy of asking for help or believing that you're going to get some sort of relief. The relief will come, and you could thank God or the universe or whatever, like Um, but it's fascinating that it works. You know, I don't know why it works. I can't. There's no black book of this thing. Like you could say it's God, and you don't have proof. You have to have the faith in what it is. And for me personally, I think it's some kind of weird science, some kind of weird the quantum entanglement of things, particles, and connections when you meet someone. Sometimes when I meet people, and it's happening more and more, it seems, when I meet people for the first time, I get this sense like I'm going to know you for a really long time. Like we're not just acquaintances. We're meant to be friends for a long time. So that seems weird. That sounds weird to say, but maybe you know what I mean. Sometimes you meet acquaintances and it's just okay, this is just a passing thing, but this is going to be fun to color, by the way. I just want to say. Anyways, I hope this doesn't sound too weird and I hope it doesn't scare you away. I'm just being a little deep tonight because I feel like if you don't have faith in something, if you don't believe in something, you can, you don't have to believe in a religion or something like that. You can just use your imagination to pretend that there's this genie right here and that you're going to ask him 3 wishes. And what are those wishes? It could be you want a promotion at work, right? Or I want a house, but you can't think I can't afford it. You just have to put these things like what deep down do you really want? And items and things like when you're young doing it, it's always about a car or a freaking thing. You know, it's sad. But like I said, you get older, and then it's like, what do you want? What do you want for your birthday? What do you want for your this? And it's like I always say, there's a Pearl Jam lyric. What song is it? I can't buy what I want because it's free. Can't find what I want because it's free. And I didn't really realize what that meant when I was younger. And now I'm like, yeah. So I joke a lot about peace of mind. They don't sell what I want in the store, if that makes sense. The peace of mind and this, the zone, getting in the zone. That's what most artists really crave, I think, when you enter the zone of creativity and creation. And I don't want to get in trouble here if talking out of line or anything, but for I was once told by like a preacher. So I guess it's okay that I say it because it was a preacher that told me this. So, ha. The preacher said that, oh yeah, God, blah 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 blah. That He created you in His image, and you're a little mini creator because you are a mini God. Like you have the same abilities that God had. Like they said this stuff to me at church once, and I was like, what? That's crazy. Sounds stupid. But you know, like if you can visualize something and pull it out and draw it or sculpt it or make it, computers and all this stuff, like humans are little mini creators. And if it is a story that was made up, then those stories were made up by humans. And if it is a real thing, then it's a real thing. And you are little mini creators, right? Like that's what the preacher was saying. It sounded really bizarre, to be honest. But now I'm older and I'm like, huh, I think I get what you're laying down. Can you believe that we actually knew? Well, I'm not going to say who, but we've known some preachers or pastors or whatever that were like actually saying like they didn't really believe in like the devil or anything like that. They were like, it's stories that were made up to kind of keep humans in line, and that's okay, and it's we're all God and all that stuff, like it's just yeah, the power of story and imagination is what I'm really getting at here tonight. I think that's what I was thinking about this morning. I'm like, wow, you know, it's neat. Yeah, it's manifestation. It's strange. I know I sound like a new age. I know it's easy to sound like a new age hippie person or something, but it's not. There's something to it. It's weird. And you know what? Screw everyone else. Just do it. Do what I just said. Ask your wishes and do it. You know, get yours while you're here. Right? Yeah. All right. Let's do this guy here. I think my wife's home. She got a haircut. I'd like to see. It's going to be a thing where she's going to look like a different person out there, and it's going to startle me. We 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 have an ongoing thing in the house where it's like she walk up behind me real quiet, and like I go whoa, and then there's these like TikToks out there that are the same thing, like husbands and wives like surprising each other in the house. That's us. She's like, I do live here. But now I'm going to open this door and it's going to be a strange looking person outside. Like, hey, get out of my house. So it's a surprise yet to see what her new hairstyle looks like. You'll maybe see it on the podcast on Thursday night, tomorrow night at 8. And yeah, so Alicia was very skeptical, but not skeptical in a this is BS way. When we first met, she was. I won't go too far into this story because she doesn't like me talking about her stuff. But she was doing like a study on my. I think she was in class or something, college. She was taking a college class and she reviewed my book about the law of attraction stuff. And she surmised that it was, when you actually believe something, then you're more apt to doing the thing that you said that you would do, and that's what causes the action. So therefore it does work because you are taking actions, and there's a scientific, and that could be totally fine and true. But it's also true that she found that when you're drowning in your self destruction, it just kind of amplifies, and it's like you could be having the worst day, and then suddenly your tire goes flat and you're like, what the, and then this happens, and then your dog dies, and it's like, what the hell, like what is happening? You're in this spiral, and you just have to stop yourself and go, no, we got to reset this energy somehow. Like something's going bad here. Like it's not a fluke. You can feel it when it's happening, and it starts to get out of control. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Yep. You know what I mean. As crazy as it sounds, all this stuff, it just feels like, when you're hearing it, you're like, I know what he's talking about. And it almost, it could easily make you go back to, like, I'm not religious, like I said. So, but I could be like, you know what? If someone could, like, if I really could start believing again that these miracles or wishes and things happen, then it could turn me back to like being a believer. But I'm so far beyond that stuff. It's not that I'm evil or anything like that. I'm very open minded to all religions and all beliefs and stories, and I believe in the power of story, and I think so. I can definitely have a conversation with many religious scholars and stuff, and they're usually surprised at like the things I know, but I only studied it because of story. you know, if that makes sense. But yeah, I've done it. I don't like to talk about the times that I did it. I feel like it's like gonna jinx me or something, you know? So I just won't. But I'm telling you that it works and that you can do it too. You should. You should try it. What do you got to lose? I promise you that there's no Satan or anything like that that's tricking you into doing this magical power. Like, it's not happening. So try it. Put in the comments what you're wishing for. What is it in life that you really want? Let's put it out. Put it out in the universe. Let the genie hear it. You know. Also, there's a. I do want to touch on that. There are these like weird parts of that where people think that you can make health issues go away magically with your mind, and I don't like that either. I don't think that that's. I do not like that. I don't think that that's real. That's not how biology works. You know, that's not how science works. Yeah, it's very bodies are complex and different. So I don't want. There are people in those communities, those new age communities, that are just like, if you have cancer, you could just wish it away. But it's not. It's more biological. You can't do things like that. That's the rules. Like there's genie wish rules, right? Don't mess with that stuff. So there's our genie. I'm gonna have more fun with the background for a little bit. I got to paint this cup red because I'm drinking out of a red cup here tonight. And it's okay if you don't want to wish anything in the chat, but you could wish out loud right now. You could do it. The universe is listening to you. But be careful what you ask for. You know. Miriam, that's pretty easy. Your wish can be granted, I'm sure. She wants a good steady schedule and to complete an entire manga chapter by the end of this month. How far are you in your chapter? So you've been posting a lot of pages. I'm glad you didn't say like, I want to have the world's most famous manga. I want to be as big as One Piece or something. Like, don't do that to yourself. How many pages are in a manga chapter? Curious. Okay, great. I'm gonna do this up fast. I need to go back to my ink or dye because we're gonna blend this up. I'm gonna go some magic brushes on this action. Isolate those layers. Go white. Oh, come on. It should be. Am I on the layer? Nope. There we go. $20 to 30 pages in a chapter per month. That's tough. That's a tough schedule. No matter if you're just doing like 4 panels or whatever. It can be a demanding thing. So don't burn yourself out. Even professional comic book artists have a hard time finishing their deadlines and getting on time. Lots of them. So, but But it isn't really inspiring the manga artists or the mangaka guys over in Japan. Although some people tell me, oh, they work like slaves over there and stuff. But like there's kind of like it's kind of romantic to me. Like I romanticize about you're just doing it all day and you're getting your work done. And when you hear these stories about these dudes that can do like 30 pages in a weekend, I'm like, what? I want to do that, you know? But then the reality is like, oof, that's a lot. Like that's a lot of stuff. Right. So reset the stream, I guess. Tonight's drawing prompt is universe in a cup, and I'm drawing a genie coming out of this red coffee cup. The coffee pot is there because that's the secret twist for the draw or die prompt members. If you don't know what Draw or Die is, Draw or Die Club, we have the weekly newsletter here. I'm going to go big for a minute while I plug this. We have the weekly newsletter that comes out on Sundays. We also have the Draw Everyday prompts. They come out every day at 5 a.m. during the month of February. It's 28 days of drawing. They get a special twist every day. So this was today's. You can see this is what the emails look like. They come. It says the twist must include a coffee pot. Right. So yeah, you can join that all at the link on the screen. Wait, where is the link on the screen? It's not there anymore. Let's put it back. There it is. Draw or Die Club. DrawOrDieClub.com. And there we've got some stickers, buttons, brush packs. Join the mailing list. We're just really supportive of helping artists stay encouraged out there. A lot of different videos on the channel too to check out. So, and if you're watching this tonight, make sure that you like the stream, like the video. It helps YouTube know who to send it to. Right. So that's where we are. That's the recap. I got to remember to reset these streams, like reset instead of just talking for like an hour and people jump in and don't know. But if you're jumping in and you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back and watch the recap because I've just dropped how to use the secret to making wishes and having your dreams come true. So no fooling. Oh. I shouldn't have done that. Let's see. Going too fast here. All right. Watercolor brush. And then we'll do a brown inside of there. Oop. Yeah. Not too thrilled with that coffee pot, to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to getting on this background real quick because I'm going to use some of my universe weird brushes and stuff for fun. It's going to be great. Let's go in here and get some white. Just a little highlight of. It's so small and insignificant, to be honest, that it doesn't really matter. Okay. That's pretty good. And then we're going to go ahead and cancel that. I don't know if I want to go on top of this layer so I don't mess that up. I'm going to go to my other coloring brushes. Comic Color should have my Space Cloud brush in there. This kind of turns things white. It gets really weird. I like it. That's too white. Whoa. I got the brush set way too big. There we go. Whoa, no. out of control. I'm on the wrong layer. I wonder what happens if I put it over that. Oh, that's neat. Let's not do that. It's kind of fun to, you know. Like smoking. Thank you. Dolce Azul. Yeah, in case you missed it, again, you have to go back and watch the stream, actually, because I'm not going to repeat it because it sounds crazy. I'm not going to do too much of that. Too much of that crazy talk. All right. That's crazy. I don't want to go too nuts because the more you color with this brush, the more white it gets, right? So it's like a color dodge effect. But we're going to put the universe, a little bit of universe stuff here. Let's see. I'm going to go back to this guy now. Come on. Just want a white brush. Put this different. Let's put those in there. I have some star brushes, but sometimes they're not. They're like so uniform they don't look good. You know, I like to just dot them in myself. Right, like that. That's cool. I'm going to use a lightning brush too because it's sweet for these guys down here. Today's prompt was by Tom Romano, who's usually on Thursday nights. He's in the stream here. Charlie got his stickers today. Glad you got them. Glad you like them. I need to draw some more stickers soon. And we'll do that whenever I get time, you know. Time. If I was going to get technical here, I'd just probably go over here and just put a little bit of. Ow. I shouldn't noodle with this too much, to be honest, but there should be like a little bit of light on the ground from that. Maybe. That's not right. Where's my airbrush? I thought I had it there. It's not there anymore. Maybe that's it. No, that's not it. Gosh darn it. Water wash? That's cool. Yeah, that's a good one. See, now it's just coming in there kind of faint. Right? Take a break? Are you kidding me? There are no breaks. There is only Zool. Yeah. This is my favorite brush. I used to use this with the Stitch a lot. lightning brush. And then we'll make some sprinkles on him. Up here. Right. I don't like how dark his, well, I'm going to fix this just real quick, just because he's very bold, like his lines are very bold. So I'm just going to like soften those lines up just a little bit with wash brush will do it. Whoops, nope. You can't even really see what I'm doing. Let's see, I'll show you. See, it went from black. Zoom in there a little bit. So if I've isolated those lines and I go over it with like a little, just to soften that black up. So it's not so, All right, that's cool. I like that. That's a good one. So I think that's good. We talked about the universe. I told you some stories. What else? What else? We're going to leave it at that. That's an hour and 16 minutes. We didn't do a poll tonight or anything like that, but there's my DJINN. It's the universe in a cup. Don't forget to write down your wishes and look at them every day. And come back here tomorrow. I don't know how I'm doing tomorrow. I got to figure this out because we have the 8 p.m. podcast. I'm either just going to skip the podcast. I don't know what to do because last week I did not get to do the drawing stream because we did the podcast. And I can't do 2 hours. Fall asleep. Let's see. I'll try to draw while we're doing the podcast, but I might need to do some pre-drawing. That won't work either. We'll figure it out. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, here on this channel, we will be here doing something. Either the podcast or a podcast drawing stream. Both. So, cool. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks, everybody, for joining the stream. If you're just joining late, make sure you go back and rewatch this because I really dropped some knowledge about how you can, use your own genie and get anything you want in life. All you have to do is ask and believe. But be careful what you wish for and how you wish for it because those genie rules are some serious business, people. All right, guys. I'm out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Same drawing time. Same drawing channel.